Welcome to my channel BBC Rare Coins. Have you ever stopped to look at a penny? That tiny copper coin in your pocket might not seem like much, but it holds over 100 years of American history. Top 1. Have you ever held a penny and wondered if it could change your life? One tiny coin, 1 cent. But what if I told you a single 1979 Lincoln penny has sold for over $77,000? That's right. A small copper coin that millions of people overlooked, tossed in jars, or dropped on the street. One of them turned out to be worth more than a luxury car. And no, this isn't some urban legend or rumor. This is a true story from the world of rare coin collecting. Let's rewind. The Lincoln penny has been around since 1909, honoring the 16th President of the United States. In 1979, the U.S. Mint struck millions of these coins. But hidden among them, a few rare heirs made their way out into circulation. And those are the coins collectors dream of finding. What makes the 1979 Lincoln penny so special? First, it's not just one error. It's a combination of several tiny, nearly invisible mistakes that can make a penny priceless. Some 1979 pennies were struck on the wrong metal planchets. That means instead of being made of the usual copper-coated zinc, they were struck on leftover bronze blanks, a metal used before 1982. That small difference in metal makes a huge difference in value. Then there's the doubling. On certain rare 1979 Lincoln pennies, you can spot double die errors, especially on the word Liberty or the date. This means the design was accidentally struck twice, just slightly misaligned, causing a shadow or ghosting effect. To the trained eye, this is like striking gold. Collectors will pay thousands for clear doubling. But here's where it gets even crazier. There's a small batch of 1979 pennies believed to have been struck with a proof die, meaning it has ultra-sharp details and a mirror-like surface, but somehow ended up in circulation. These are never supposed to leave the mint. If you find one, you're holding a coin that was meant to be perfect and wasn't supposed to exist in your pocket. Where did the $77,000 coin come from? A rare 1979 penny with a combination of these features: a wrong metal planchet, near-perfect doubling, and ultra-clear details, went up for auction. What happened next shocked even veteran collectors. Bidding exploded. One collector, determined to own it, pushed the price into the tens of thousands. In the end, the final sale price? $77,000. And here's the wild part. Most people walk past coins on the ground every day. They pay with pennies without looking. They clean out their drawers and never even check the dates. Could one of these ultra-rare pennies be in your home? If you have any 1979 pennies, now is the time to take a closer look. Look for unusual shine. Check for bold doubling. If the coin feels heavier or has a different tone when dropped, it could be struck on the wrong planchet. And if you're not sure, take it to a coin expert or grading service. One inspection could change everything. The 1979 Lincoln penny isn't just a coin. It's a reminder that history, rarity, and value can be hiding in plain sight. That a forgotten coin can turn into a treasure. That 1 cent can, sometimes, be worth a fortune. Next time you see a penny, don't walk past it. Pick it up. Flip it over. You just might be holding $77,000 in your hand. Top 2. Can a penny really be worth more than a brand new Tesla? Can one small copper coin from 1983 change someone's life forever? Believe it or not, the answer is yes. The 1983 Lincoln penny. 1 cent ordinary. Forgotten. Overlooked. But in the hidden corners of pocket change and old coin jars lies one of the most valuable 1 cent coins in U.S. history, a rare 1983 Lincoln penny that sold for a jaw-dropping $74,000. Let that sink in. $74,000. For a coin that most people wouldn't even bend down to pick up off the street. To understand how this happened, you have to look closer. The Lincoln penny has been part of American life since 1909. But in 1982, the U.S. Mint made a major change. Due to rising copper prices, they switched the penny's composition from solid copper to a cheaper zinc core with a thin copper coating. By 1983, every penny was supposed to be struck on these new copper-plated zinc blanks. But then something strange happened. A small number of 1983 pennies were accidentally struck on the old copper planchets. A metal blank no longer supposed to be used. This mistake created one of the most sought-after error coins in history. This wasn't a gimmick. It wasn't a special edition. It was a genuine mint error, something that should never have happened, And that's exactly what makes it so incredibly rare and valuable. What makes the 1983 copper penny even more legendary is how easy it is to miss. To the naked eye, it looks exactly like every other 1983 penny. But here's the catch. If you weigh it, a real 1983 zinc penny weighs about 2.5 grams. The copper ones? 3.1 grams. That's it. Just a 0.6 gram difference. The key to unlocking a five-figure fortune. In one famous case, a man discovered a 1983 penny that looked ordinary but weighed more. He had it tested, authenticated, and certified. The result? A genuine 1983 copper penny and a payout of over $74,000 at auction. Imagine going through your change jar, looking at pennies you've ignored for years, and suddenly realizing one of them is worth more than most people's yearly salary. This coin didn't come from a special roll. It wasn't bought from a collector. It was found in circulation. It proves that rare treasures are still out there, hiding in plain sight. But it doesn't stop there. Some 1983 Lincoln pennies also show signs of doubling, especially on the words liberty or in God we trust. These double die errors can increase the value even more. And when paired with the rare copper composition, that's when the price skyrockets. Today, collectors all over the country are searching for this coin. Not because it's old, not because it's flashy, but because it's a mistake that became a masterpiece, a freak accident that turned into a fortune. So what should you do? Grab your change jar. Check every 1983 penny. Weigh it. Inspect it. If it feels heavier than usual, you might have something special. And if you find doubling, you just hit the jackpot, because one of the rarest and most valuable 1-cent coins in U.S. history could be sitting in your home, waiting to be discovered. Don't let it go unnoticed. Don't spend it. Don't toss it away. The 1983 Lincoln penny is more than just 1 cent. It's a story, a mystery, and for a lucky few, it's a $74,000 miracle. Top 3. The 1982 Lincoln penny is one of the most common coins in America. You've probably handled dozens, maybe even hundreds of them in your lifetime. But buried among those ordinary pennies is a rare variation so valuable, it shocked collectors when it was discovered, one that sold for $68,000 at auction. This coin didn't come from a special edition. It wasn't created for collectors. It was a genuine mint coin, made for circulation, and somehow, by mistake, it became one of the most valuable 1-cent pieces in U.S. history. Let's go back to 1982. That year was a turning point in the history of the penny. Due to rising copper prices, the U.S. Mint made a major decision to change the metal composition of the 1-cent coin. Before 1982, pennies were made of 95% copper. After mid-1982, they switched to a cheaper zinc core with only a thin layer of copper on top. But here's the twist, the transition didn't happen overnight. In 1982, the Mint produced pennies with both copper and zinc compositions. And to make things even more confusing, they used 8 different varieties of the penny that year: large date copper, small date copper, large date zinc, small date zinc, and versions from both Philadelphia and Denver. But one version, not officially supposed to exist, became the star. It's known as the 1982 D small date copper penny. Let that sink in. A 1982 penny from the Denver Mint with a small date design struck on a copper planchet. According to official Mint records, Denver only struck small date pennies in zinc. The copper version should not exist, but it does. In 2016, a collector stumbled across this impossible coin. He weighed it. It came in at 3.1 grams, confirming it was copper, not zinc. He sent it in for authentication. Experts confirmed it. This was a real, authentic, Denver minted 1982 small date penny struck on a copper blank. It wasn't just a minor error. It was a never-before-seen mint mistake. A true unicorn. The only one of its kind known at the time. When it went up for auction, collectors went wild. This wasn't just a rare coin. It was a piece of U.S. Mint history, a coin that shouldn't exist, but somehow does. The final sale price? $68,000. And here's the crazy part. There could be more. That's right. Nobody knows how many of these pennies slipped through the cracks. Some experts believe there are still a few out there, floating in circulation, sitting in drawers, hiding in forgotten coin collections. They might look like any other 1982 penny, but the weight tells the truth. To identify one, you need to know 3 things. It must be from 1982, with a small date design. It must have a D mint mark. Struck in Denver. It must weigh 3.1 grams, meaning it's made of copper. If it weighs 2.5 grams, it's zinc common. But if it's 3.1 grams, you might be holding one of the most valuable pennies in history. So grab your scale. Grab your 1982 pennies. Start checking. Because someone out there found one and turned 1 cent into $68,000, and the next one could be sitting in your pocket right now. This isn't just a story about coins. It's a reminder that even the smallest, most ordinary things can hold incredible value. Top 4. Most people walk past pennies without a second glance. Left in car cup holders, dropped on sidewalks, forgotten in kitchen drawers. But what if I told you that a single 1988 Lincoln penny, one that looks just like the rest, sold $4.61, 1 cent, $61,000. Sounds insane, right? But it's absolutely real. The 1988 Lincoln penny is hiding one of the most famous and mysterious mint errors in American coin history. And it's a mistake so subtle that even experienced collectors missed it for years. In 1988, the U.S. Mint was using special dies, the steel stamps that press the design into the coin. These dies are incredibly precise, and they're different depending on whether the coin is meant for business circulation or for proof sets. The proof dies are sharper, more detailed, and are only used for collector coins, never meant to be used on regular coins for everyday use. But somewhere in the chaos of minting millions of coins a day, something went wrong. A proof die was accidentally used to strike a small batch of regular 1988 pennies. These are known today as the 1988 reverse of 1989 Lincoln cents, and they're among the most valuable pennies ever created by mistake. It all comes down to one tiny detail: the FG initials on the reverse side, right under the Lincoln Memorial. Those letters stand for Frank Gasparo, the designer of the reverse. On normal 1988 pennies, the initials appear sharper and bolder, with a different placement. But on this rare error, the initials are faint and shifted, just like on the 1989 proof reverse. This tiny change, almost invisible to the untrained eye, completely transforms the coin's value. Most people never notice. To the average person, it's just another penny. But collectors? They know that if you find this version, especially one in high condition, you're holding a true numismatic treasure. And one of these coins, confirmed to be a 1988 business strike penny with the wrong reverse, sold at auction for a stunning $61,000. This isn't about age. This isn't about silver or gold. It's about rarity. It's about a mistake the mint never intended. A mistake that somehow slipped past every layer of inspection and landed in someone's change. And here's what's wild. No one knows how many more are out there. This wasn't a commemorative release. This wasn't a coin locked away in a vault. This was a regular penny, struck in 1988, released into circulation, and spent like any other. It could have been used to buy gum. It could be in a piggy bank. It could be in your pocket right now. Want to know how to check? Flip over your 1988 penny. Look just to the right of the Lincoln Memorial, near the base. Do you see the tiny FG initials? If they look soft, barely there, or out of place, you might have found one. If it matches the reverse style of the 1989 penny, get it weighed, get it checked, and send it in to be authenticated. Because you could be holding a $61,000 coin. This is why coin collecting never dies. Not because people are obsessed with history, the many are, but because of the thrill of the unknown. Because even the most ordinary object can hold an extraordinary secret. So take a second look at that change on your desk. Go through your drawers. Dig through your penny jars. Because someone already turned 1 cent into $61,000. And lightning can strike twice. Top 5. It's 1992. You're buying something small, maybe a soda, and you hand over a few coins without thinking twice. One of them is a penny. Just a regular, brown, ordinary penny. Or so you think. But that 1992 penny, it could be worth $58,000. That's not a myth. That's not a typo. That's a fact. One of the rarest and most valuable pennies in U.S. history is hiding behind an ordinary year, a common design, and a small but shocking mistake. One that turned a 1-cent coin into a 5-figure treasure, the 1992 Lincoln cent. At first glance, nothing special. Same design since 1959. Lincoln on the front, the Lincoln Memorial on the back. But in 1992, something happened that even the mint didn't catch right away. A few pennies, just a few, were struck using the wrong design. They weren't supposed to exist, but they do. And collectors call them the 1992 close AM Lincoln cents. Now here's where things get interesting. Flip over a regular 1992 penny. Look closely at the back. Focus on the words United States of America. Now look at the A and the M in the word America. On a normal 1992 penny, those two letters, the A and the M, have a clear space between them. They're wide apart. That's how it was supposed to be for business strike coins that year. But on a few rare examples, the A and M are touching or nearly touching. That's the design that was meant for proof coins only, not for general circulation. Somehow, a proof die, sharper, more detailed, and with the close AM style, was accidentally used to strike a small batch of 1992 pennies meant for the public. These coins were never meant to exist outside of collector sets. But they did. They slipped through. They entered circulation. And decades later, they're still being discovered, one at a time, in people's pockets, jars, and drawers. When the first 1992 close AM penny was authenticated, the coin world was stunned. This wasn't just an error. It was a design mix-up, a die clash that never should have happened. And it made the value skyrocket. One verified 1992 D-close AM penny sold at auction for $58,000. That's right. A coin worth less than a stick of gum became one of the most valuable modern-era coins in circulation. And here's the part that makes this truly incredible. There could be more. Unlike some rare coins that were limited to just a few known examples, no one knows exactly how many 1992 close AM pennies are still out there. They're not easy to spot. You have to know exactly what to look for. And unless you flip over the coin and check that tiny detail, you'd never know what you're holding. So what should you do? It's simple. Start checking your 1992 pennies, both from Philadelphia, no mint mark, and from Denver, with a D mint mark. Flip them over. Look closely at the word America. If the A and M are nearly touching, you could have one of the rare close AM varieties. But be warned, you need to look very carefully. It takes a sharp eye and sometimes a magnifying glass. And if you think you've found one, get it weighed, inspected, and authenticated. Because even in circulated condition, these coins can fetch thousands. In pristine condition, they can go for tens of thousands, even $58,000, as history has already proven. This is more than just a cool story. It's a reminder that mistakes sometimes make the most valuable things. A tiny error at the mint, a proof die used on the wrong day, and suddenly a penny becomes a legend. That's the magic of coin collecting. That's the thrill of the hunt. And that's why people check every coin, every time, because lightning doesn't just strike once. And fortunes can still be found in your spare change. Like, comment, and subscribe if you love these hidden treasure stories. Share this with someone who has a jar of coins just waiting to be checked. Because that 1 cent you forgot about could be worth $58,000 if you know what to look for.